What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the fourth episode of MMA Picks with Ant and Jay. Today, we are going to be breaking down the UFC Fight Night. UFC Fight Night Dos Santos versus Fiziev. This card is looking pretty good. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. I would say there's some pretty good fights on here. How you doing though today, man? You doing
chilling, man?
Well?
Yep, came out last week with a little bit of a profit, ready to build on that. And there's definitely some spots I like here, but there's also a lot I don't. So
yeah, I hear that, right? Definitely had a good week last week. Hit some big bets. Jalen Smith, that sub plus 800.
Turner, yeah.
Or Jalen Turner, Jalen Smith, I'm tripping. Jalen Turner, that was a big play right there, plus 800.
I'm jealous you got that because by the time you got that, I think it was like plus 375 or something like that. So
yeah.
Totally missed the boat on that.
Yeah, so that first round sub, I didn't do this, but first round sub was like plus 1,200.
Ooh.
So it would have been just like sprinkling both of those would have been wonderful. But yeah, so we'll jump to this UFC Fight Night. I think Vegas 58. We'll start with this first fight here. I'm not really sure why this fight's kicking off the night. Maybe because they're both pretty young prospects. I guess not young, but young in their careers. Prospects in the UFC. That would be my guess. But we have Ronnie Lawrence and Syed Yakub Kakramonov. Let's break down the tail of the tape real quick. Ronnie Lawrence will be 4 years older. He will be the bigger man. In terms of his size, he's a bigger bantamweight. He'll have a bigger reach. When you see their body types, he's a little bit thicker. So that's what I mean by the bigger man. Kakramonov, he did miss weight in his last fight against
Jones.
Trevin Jones. He did miss weight in that fight. Ronnie Lawrence is on a 5-fight win streak. Kakramonov is 4-1 with his only loss to Pipe Vargas in the last 5. I tried to look for that fight everywhere. I could not find that knockout, that flying knee.
I looked for that too.
I couldn't find it, but needless to say, I think this is a great matchup. I think on the feet, Kakramonov has the slight advantage. I think he's a really good striker. He's not a huge offensive wrestler, offensive grappler, but he does use it defensively. He looks for guillotines. I think that is a threat. I think Lawrence will have to watch out for that, but I think Lawrence will be safe. I think he'll be okay. I think Lawrence has quality boxing. I mean, he fought Manny Martinez last fight. He knocked him down 3 times, and it wasn't lucky punches. They're pretty clean, clocked him. And so I think on the feet, Kakramonov has the advantage, but it's not super vast. And then Lawrence is just a chain wrestler. I think he has like 26 takedowns, or either 26 takedowns or 26 or 33 takedown attempts in like 3 fights, which is insane. I love to back fighters that I know are going to go out there and go for takedowns.
Good night.
Good night. I love you.
Love you too.
I love fighters that go for takedowns, stuff like that. So I think I personally have a bet on Ronnie Lawrence. I want to say my bet is, I did not write it down, but I want to say it's 2.4 units to win 2 at like minus 110, minus 115, something like that. I think it's a good line. I think it was good. What do you think? What do you think on this fight?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you for sure on that. I mean, he wasn't my first bet, but he was probably my 3rd or 4th. And yeah, I mean, you broke it down pretty well. He's got like 26 takedowns in 3 fights. That's just insane to me. He's lands them at a pretty good rate. he's he should be the stronger guy. I am a little worried with the striking defense, and I'm just nervous that he could get finished, but I'm just gonna have to go with my gut and like what I think who's the better fighter overall, and I'm gonna have to go with Ronnie. I think that wrestling is gonna be a problem for Kakramonov if he can stay away from the guillotine choke.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. I mean, I think in that Trevin Jones fight, it was close. I think it could have been scored either way. I personally thought Jones was kind of winning the fight, but then he got caught in the guillotine choke and it was over.
Yeah, I had money on him then too. So that's why it's like I feel like the last 2 times I've had money on Trevin Jones, he's lost. So I have and I was like, and Kakramonov really impressed me because I thought Trevin Jones is legit when it first began. Now I don't really know.
Yeah, no, Kakramonov is definitely a stud.
Yeah.
I was watching an interview with James Lynch, and he just was saying the reason why he hasn't fought in so long is people just kind of kept running from him. He just said nobody wanted to fight him. I don't know if he had any canceled bouts. So he had the Brian Kelleher canceled bout, which, I mean, that would have been a good fight to see him. That's a
good bar.
A good, step up. I mean, I think Trevin Jones would handle Brian Kelleher, but that's beside the point. But yeah, so we're both siding with Lawrence here. I definitely think Kakramonov is live. And depending on how crazy this line gets, I might just hedge my bet out and just also put a bet on Kakramonov because at certain books, I mean, he's plus 120 at some books. And so, but right now that's not the case. It's not high enough. He would need to get to the plus 140, plus 150 range for me to make that worthwhile.
Both have had struggles with the scale too.
Yes, that's some good thing to point out. Last fight, Kakramonov missed weight, and then I don't know if Lawrence has missed weight, but I know he's definitely.
Fight got canceled because of a cut.
Fight got canceled. I know he's been the last one to the scales a couple times, so it's not easy for him to cut down to 135 or 136. Yeah. All right, let's move on to fight number 2. We're on the same side, fight 1. I think we're probably going to be on the same side for this second fight, if I'm not mistaken. We have Kennedy Nzechukwu, sorry if I can speak, against Carl Roberson. Tail to tape. Let's break that down real quick. Roberson was actually a year older, about a year and a half older. He is the smaller man in terms of weights. Height-wise, he's going to be shorter. Reach-wise, he's going to be at a massive disadvantage. He's going to be at a 9-inch reach disadvantage, which you just don't really see too often in the octagon. Last 5 fights for each of these guys. Kennedy is 3-2 in his last 5, and Roberson is 2-3. Roberson is really Roberson is what I like to call a failed 185er. He couldn't make 185 consistently or easily. He moved up to 205, and he's still been getting handled, but it's not been as bad as we. I don't know. I mean, it has been bad. I take that back. He's been getting finished. He's gotten finished 3 straight fights. I think that this is kind of what is in his future. He just doesn't look like he wants it. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's in there to win. He looks like he's in there to collect the check. If he gets hurt, he goes down, and he's just like, whatever. I'm tapping. I'm going out. But I mean, that's kind of just more of a narrative standpoint. From an analysis standpoint, he's just so big. He's 4 inches taller. He has a 9-inch reach advantage. In his last fight against Nick Nurmagomedov, he pushed the pace a little bit. I rewatched that fight. In that first round, he actually came out and pushed the pace some. He didn't sit there and shell up and kind of like put his hands up. And so I think that's a good thing to see. He used his jab a little bit, which is a good thing to see. I'm siding with Kennedy. I have a bet on this fight too. I put like 1.1 units on Kennedy at -110, basically to win 1 unit. It's nothing huge, but I think he'll win. I'm not super confident in it. I'm not going to parlay him with anything. Maybe if I want to do like a big Lambo parlay or something crazy. But yeah, I'm siding Kennedy. I have a bet on him. It's more fading Roberson. I think Roberson's too little. Simply that. Too little, too short. Arm reach not long enough. So what do you think, man?
Yeah, I have to agree again. He's just so big, man. And outside of that Da Un Jung fight, I think he's looked really good in all of his fights. I mean, he weathered the storm against Izzy's friend. That was a crazy fight.
Olberg.
Yeah, and Olberg just finished Nzechukwu and Kafan and Chukwi. That's it. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna have to go with him again. It's mostly because of, like you mentioned, the size, and he does have pretty good defense. I really don't know what happened in that Da Un Jung fight. That was bizarre to me, like one of the more bizarre finishes I've seen.
Yeah.
And I have a bet on him too. Like you said, not super confident because he's messed up before, but I just can't bet on Carl Roberson. Like you said, I feel like he has quit before. I've never seen Nzechukwu quit. So yeah, I'm gonna have to lean with him too. But definitely can't parlay him. And I wouldn't even parlay the last fighter either. That we agreed on. Lawrence. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I put in my notes. I literally put what you mentioned, just kind of like toughness. I said durability and size, I think, are going to be the biggest factors in this matchup. Yeah. And I said I think Nzechukwu has the size and has the durability on his side.
Sure.
So
he's got a great gym too.
Yep. And I think he's also in a better camp. I mean, he's at Fortis MMA.
Continuing to improve. Like last fight, he looked good. If it wasn't that eye poke, he definitely won that fight.
Blake on the coach, yeah.
His name's
Saeed. He's basically he's a really good coach, and so I definitely like to back fighters who he literally yells out great game plans to his fighters. All right, so let's move on to number 3. We have a consensus on this fight, or fight number 2. Number 3, something new. This fight was just announced today. So to be fair, I didn't watch film on Onama because his fight was pretty much canceled before I even got to it. And I've never heard of Garrett Armfield. But Killcliff FC, that is Sanford MMA. Sanford MMA basically got they got bought out by Killcliff, basically a sponsorship. Name change to the gym. That's pretty much what that is, if you start seeing that. But these guys have fought before. I did see that. Onama won a unanimous decision against this guy. Let me pull up the old stats. What is this Game of Thrones shit? So this was an amateur. So they fought as amateurs. So this was in 2018. So 4 years ago they fought. Onama was 23. Armfield was 21. It was, a unanimous decision. He got the victory. Not much more you can ask for, right? So I think that the way that this fight's gonna go, I'm gonna side with Onama because he's what I know, and he's the safe pick. But who knows? This guy Garrett Armfield could be a lot better, but it looks like he's a bantamweight, and this is going to be a 145 fight. But let me see what the line is. Yeah, so Onama on Bet Online, I don't see him the line's not up on Bovada, but
nope, it is not.
But on Bet Online, Onama is -800 and Armfield is +500. So I mean, I don't really know how you guys.
Sheesh.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know how you want to play that. I'm not laying 800 on David Onama. I can tell you that much right now. I honestly might take a stab at Armfield. Might put like half a unit. Might even put a whole unit on the kid if it gets really out of hand. Because who knows? Maybe he comes out and gets a split decision win, or maybe he comes out and gets a lucky clocks and gets a knockout. Who knows? But David Onama minus 800 is pretty absurd to me. There's not many fighters that should ever be minus 800 in a mixed martial arts fight.
Yeah.
I think it was. So this is a little bit of a rant, but I think it was Dricus Duplessis who said in his interview last week. They said, "What do you think about Israel Adesanya being minus 400?" He said, "I think anybody being minus 400 in a MMA fight is just wrong because anything can happen." And granted, Izzy won. He looked like minus 400. He probably looked like minus 700, but still, it's point being like it's a fight. Anything can happen.
Slip on a banana peel.
Yeah, slip on a banana peel. But what do you think, man?
I like you said, I haven't had any time to look up Armfield. I wonder if you could watch their previous fight, but it looks like he's only been really losing to studs in mixed martial arts. He lost to Ronnie Lawrence, so that was a bantamweight fight, I'm assuming.
Was that in the pros or?
Yeah, that was in 2019. He fought. That was his second pro fight. He lost.
Decision?
Yep, he lost a unanimous decision. And then he lost by rear naked choke to a guy named Mateo Vogel, who's now like 5-2 or something like that. But I think one of his losses was a disqualification due to illegal strikes. But anyways, I digress. Onama's huge for 145. He's 5'11". He's got a 74-inch reach, according to Topology.
Yeah, it's a big man.
Like, and I remember last time he was out, I was like, "Hey, I'm laying money on this guy," and you're like, "He's fighting Benitez, dude. Benitez is good, dude." Like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I just think this guy's different. I don't know. I watched that the fight against Mason Jones, and Mason Jones is a stud. And he was like able to keep getting up, and it was up a weight class. So I definitely think he's gonna win inside the distance, probably, just because I feel like he's been leveling up more, and they're at a higher weight class maybe than what they originally. I don't know. I don't know how Onama ever made 135 if he did though.
Yeah, I think it was featherweight the entire time.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Onama too, but I'm not gonna have any money on it. I don't think, especially because it's not up yet, and when it does get up, it'll probably be at least minus 800, like you said. First round is probably gonna be like minus 200 or something like that. So
one thing is interesting is the over under set out 1.5 rounds, and the over is minus 144. So I mean, they're thinking that this is gonna go over 1.5 rounds. So if you like, if you like a first round finish, I mean, plus money on that.
They've gone the distance before, so I mean,
exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's why even that I don't know. He should win in the first round. I feel like just because he's got hands and he hits hard.
Mm-hmm. But, are you clicking your pen?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. What is that?
I'll stop doing that.
All right. So we'll move on to this fourth fight here. Basically, Onama. This fight right here, I wouldn't bet on this fight, guys, unless you want to, I don't know, parlay Onama. I wouldn't even do it. It's not even worth it. Parlay minus 800 it's not worth the risk. It's truly not, y'all.
I'm excited to see that fight, though.
Me too. It should be a banger. All right, so now speaking of bangers, this fight right here should be a fun one. We got Cody Brundage against Trayshawn Gore. Tail of the tape here, both 28, both 6 feet tall, and the one outlier is Gore has a 3-inch reach advantage. So, I mean, tail of the tape, it's pretty even. Record-wise, Brundage does have more experience, so that favors him. This fight is interesting. I really don't know how I feel about it. I will say I have a bet on it. But what do you think? I'll kick this to you.
I think Gore is going to finish him. That's what I think is going to happen. Obviously by strikes. Brundage doesn't look like he likes being hit too often. He doesn't take it well. I think Gore's probably got something to prove. I mean, you hear him last time he was out, he said he's going to fight, like, he's going to be a 2-division champ or something like that. Then he lost to Brian Battle, who he thought obviously he was going to destroy. And so I think he's probably been working harder than ever. I think he's going to be making big improvements, and I think he's probably going to have the strength advantage to be able to keep him off of him unless he, like, overcommits at some point, which is always possible. But I think he should land at least a few solid shots, and if he doesn't, like, make it like a game or like a round-changing event, I can still see him winning by decision, I guess. But I think he's going to win inside the distance. I have a bet on him too. Got him at like -115.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, that was a good line to get him at. Fight clips. Excited for that excited for Obama fight. Yeah, the Onama fight will be good. I agree. That's going to be a banger, man.
I got him at -112.
Okay, that's good. I mean, see, Gore right now standing at like -140. I think on Bet Online he's -145. So this is really just. I have a bet on this. I have it on Tresean Gore inside the distance at +250. They don't have a KO prop out for him. They have round props, but I'm not really interested in a round prop. I just did inside the distance here for Tresean Gore. My only concern is if Cody Brundage comes out here and like tries to just put on a crazy grappling pace and Gore just can't handle it. That is a concern of mine, but I think Gore is more powerful. I think Gore is stronger. I think mentally I probably would side with Gore. I don't know. I watched James Lynch's interview with Tresean Gore, and I watched his interview with Cody Brundage before I bet on this
he's
fight.
Interviewing everyone.
Yeah, he interviews a lot of fighters. So if you ever like are interested in kind of like hearing a perspective, I would just go on James Lynch's YouTube channel and check that out, folks, because it's kind of cool to get some insight from these fighters. Like Tresean Gore, he kind of how you said with Brian Battle, he literally openly said that he wasn't active enough. He feels like that he should have thrown more volume. He thinks if he threw more volume, he probably would have won. He said that
it was still a close fight.
He said it was a close fight. He said that if depending on the judge, it really could have changed. He said if somebody thought that they were gonna, he said damage wise he won, volume wise Battle won. He said that was kind of the thing, and I mean I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so he said that he's really made a change to focus on becoming more active and not just sit back and wait for people to actually engage.
Oh, it's over then. It's over.
And so, I mean, if he does that, I like him. I like him inside the distance because if Brundage gets touched, Brundage is going down. I really think that that's how it's going to go. It doesn't sound pretty, but I think it sounds it's kind of like a chalk square answer, like Tresean Gore is going to knock him out. But Dalcha had him hurt. Nick Maximov, he never hurt him, but he just like rode him out, and he almost made him quit. It wasn't pretty at all. I watched that fight, and Nick Maximov he's decent, but it wasn't pretty.
He's not a big boxer or anything per se.
And then William Knight fight, he was winning that fight, and then just got absolutely pummeled. So I mean, I'm gonna go Tresean Gore here, and I have him inside the distance for one unit at +250. I want to say. So if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But
after that Battle fight, Battle moved to 170. I don't know if that's because of that fight, but
I'm sure he probably wasn't cutting weight very much. I mean, he looked like he had a little belly fat whenever he bounced around and stuff. So cut weight.
Well, honestly, I feel like we beat the lines on all three of these so far because Nzechukwu, I got him at -125. And I got Lawrence like -120, and now they're both -140. And then I got Gore at -112, and now he's -145. So
yeah, I didn't take the money line on Gore. I don't know. I just feel like if this goes to decision, he's probably gonna lose. As unfortunate as that sounds, so that's why I just took the indecision inside the distance prop. If I could speak.
I'm probably gonna double up on that. To be honest, I'll probably double up on the KO.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, so we're both on Gore. Let's pop down. Next fight. what is this, 5th fight of the night? Yeah, we got 5th fight of the night. So these first 4 fights, I'm actually real interested in. And this fight right here, it's a little bit of a lull, but I will say these girls should probably throw down still. So like, despite it not
Should
being
be a good fight.
extremely high level, we should get some action, right? You know, we should get some action.
Hell
So,
yeah, brother.
We got Antonina Shevchenko taking on Courtney Casey. Stop with your pen, please. We got Courtney Casey 10-9, Antonina Shevchenko 9-4. Both of these ladies are 2-3 in their last 5. Shevchenko is the slight favorite. Actually, I would say she's more than a slight favorite. I mean, they say slight favorite, but it feels like a little bit more.
Close to 2-1.
Yeah. 125 weight class for these ladies. Shevchenko will have the 1-inch height advantage and the 1-inch reach advantage. Shevchenko, obviously, couldn't tell by the last name, is the older sister of Valentina. Courtney Casey is a veteran in the UFC. Has a ton of UFC fights. She has 19 total pro fights, obviously more experience. She's married or engaged to Drakkar Close, who's fighting next weekend, I believe, or on the UFC 277, one of those cards.
Yeah.
So she's, in a little fight family as well, if you will. This fight, I guess I have to lean the favorite. I mean, I think this is going to be a striking match. I think Antonina Shevchenko, she has the Muay Thai background. That favors a striking match is going to favor her. Courtney Casey doesn't really look like she appears to go for takedowns too often. I've seen her in a couple of fights, and she really doesn't go for takedowns. I mean, I'm looking at her stats right now. She has 11 takedown attempts in 14 UFC fights. So that's, you're not banking on takedowns, So this is going to be a striking match. If this is going to be a striking match, I'm going to take Shevchenko. But I will say Casey does have good output. And maybe Shevchenko doesn't like this output. Maybe she's like, oh no, this is not for me. And I mean, I don't think Shevchenko is very good, but I don't think Casey is either. So my pick is Shevchenko. She's fought the better competition, I think, as well. If you're just looking at their past 5 fights. Yeah, my pick's not Valentina. My pick's Antonina. That's how I'm going. And yeah, what do you think, man?
It's a fight I don't want to bet on, that's for dang sure. Yeah, I feel like I have to say Shevchenko just because her, she's been fighting higher level competition, without a doubt. Courtney Casey, I don't know. She's just not that good to me. She's out of a good gym, you never know. And seems like when they're in these type of, when two fighters start dating each other, they end up really going hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, honestly, I might throw money on the split for Casey, but I think if you're saying straight up, Shevchenko should win.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, there's not there's not too many betting angles I like on this fight. And I don't know.
Casey by split decision is plus 1,200.
What's Shevchenko?
Plus 500.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow. I would not.
Splitter majority 650.
It's not gross, but
it's not bad.
Play that. Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Courtney Casey fights out of a good gym. You would think that they would be this chick is terrible when you get her to the ground. You should try and get her on the ground, get on top of her. You should win that way. I don't know if they're telling her that or if she's super confident in her stand-up game.
I mean, I don't even think it would matter. She literally has 11 takedown attempts in 14 UFC fights.
Yeah.
and she hits them at a 27% clip. So even if she's shooting for them, she's probably not going to get it.
And her fight against Luana Jujua is awful, like terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, Shevchenko's takedown defense is 52%, which is not great. But I mean, if you're telling me a girl who takes down other women at 27%, and then the woman she's fighting has takedown defense of 52%, I mean, that's a 30% difference in ability to take her down. So I'll take that 30% edge right there. And I mean, I'm looking Shevchenko by points plus 120. That's really not a bad look. I mean, you're turning that minus what is her line? Minus 170, minus 160, minus 170 in some places. You're turning that to plus money. So if you want to bet on this fight, people, that was probably what I would do is Shevchenko. I don't think she's finishing. I mean, she's called cast iron, Courtney Cast Iron Casey for a reason. She doesn't get finished. I mean, rear naked choke, but Shevchenko's not pulling off that. So we'll move on to the next fight here. If you're enjoying the content, folks, please drop a like, drop a subscribe. It is much appreciated. We'll try to come here every single week. We'll try to keep it on Tuesdays. The holiday kind of threw us off, so that's why we're on here Wednesday. But Tuesdays about 8:30, 8:45 every week, here to break down the card, and then hopefully we'll start evolving and start creating more content and going from there. But appreciate y'all for hanging out, watching along. Let's jump to Armen Zahabi against Ricky Turcios. So this fight should be one of the more exciting fights on the card, in my opinion. We got Ricky Turcios, who is going to have a 5-year age advantage, if you will. He's 5 years younger. He's going to be taller by 1 inch, and he's going to have 4 inches of reach. Turcios is a very, very, very high active fighter. If you guys are familiar with Brandon Royval, that's kind of who he reminds me of. Always throwing punches, always throwing kicks. If he's on his back, he's always throwing elbows. He's always trying to get up. He's always throwing up different like submission attempts. The dude's just super duper active. He's one of those fighters that people like to say, like the term like fight, like we'll fight for your money. Ricky Turcios will definitely fight for your money. That dude will go out there and give it 120% effort for all of his fights. Just taking a look at my notes real quick on what I had to say in the moment while I was watching tape. I think Zahabi will have the power advantage for sure. When you see him hit his opponents, I mean, they definitely stop in their place. They're not walking through his punches. I think that's the difference with Turcios. Turcios's punches, you can walk through his punches. He doesn't have a heavy hand. I wouldn't say he has pillow. He's not like a pillow puncher, but he's not out here just like sleeping fools or knocking dudes in their place or even knocking guys down super consistent. But Zahabi's issue is he's low volume. And when you're fighting a guy like Turcios, who's going to put the pressure on you, man, and it's not a good look to be low volume. It's not a good look. And just to emphasize, Turcios and his output, he's landed over 100 strikes in both of his UFC fights. So not many UFC fighters are out here even landing 100 strikes, let alone in their UFC debut and second fight. My pick's probably Turcios by decision. I don't have a bet on this fight. I think maybe round 3 decision if you want to play it safe. But I like Turcios by decision here. It's probably plus money. I don't know what it is.
I got it plus 135 yesterday.
For sure. So there we go. So Mr. J got it at plus 135. It's still plus 135 bet online. Same with Bovada. I like that. I think if you're somebody out there who's not confident in Ricky Turcios, you can play potentially like, I don't know, maybe fight goes the distance. That's minus 150. You kind of don't have to play that minus 180 line. You don't have to play that underdog line, and you can kind of just get that minus 150 play that it goes the distance and kind of go from there. That's my feel. That's my read. Turcios is my lean. I just think the volume's going to get the better of Zahabi, I think. So that's my thoughts. What about you?
Like I said, I already have a Ricky Turcios by decision. I feel like it's pretty safe. I mean, relatively safe considering.
Yeah.
I'm in Zahabi, like you mentioned, not enough volume to beat a guy like Ricky unless he knocks him out. And so maybe you take Ayman Zahabi instead of distance, no action or whatever. That if you feel like he might land the kill shot, which, you know, he's been known to land kill shots. Like, if you look at his record and like even prior to being in the UFC, he finished a lot of guys in the first round.
That's plus 135 too. So
yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad. Yeah, does Turcios has he been finished? I mean,
he's been finished by Mana Martinez 4 years ago.
That dude hits like a truck though.
Yeah, he almost finished. Or not almost, but he wobbled Ronnie a few times.
He knocked him down twice in the third round.
Yeah, that was scary. I was like, dude, please don't die on me.
Very scary.
But yeah, anyways, Ricky Turcios got him by points. Let's go.
For sure. So we're on that Ricky Turcios side. The volume is just going to be unmatched, I think. I don't think – I just can't see Zahabi just being able to keep up. It's just – you have a guy throwing over 100 strikes. Like, that's a lot.
Pretty Ricky's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of strikes, man. All right, so let me scroll down a bit. First fight, we're at the main card now, folks. So we're rolling through the card real smooth. Hopefully you guys have found some value in this. Maybe you like our bets. Maybe we've deterred you off of a couple of fighters. Maybe we've pushed you towards some. That's kind of what our goal is, just be here to provide information, not to make you pick fighters, but just to provide information and make you make your best informed decision. If you would like to tail us, that is up to you. But I won't blame you if you do. I've had 7 straight weeks of making money, so have a little heater ride, and we look to continue to ride into this card and picking it smart though, not just out here throwing away money. All right, so we got the first fight of the main card. This fight right here is going to be fun. We got Michael Johnson against Jamie Mullarkey. Michael Johnson is 1-4 in his last 5. Jamie Mullarkey is 2-3 in his last 5. Johnson will be 9 years older. Sorry, I was trying to do math on the spot. Will be 9 years older. He will have a 2-inch height disadvantage and a 1/2-inch reach disadvantage. Mullarkey is a pretty big favorite here. I want to say right now, let me pull up Zibana. He is about a minus 250 favorite, which is pretty significant. I mean, minus 250, that's pretty high. So I don't think that's justifiable. I know Mullarkey's a pretty solid fighter, and I know Michael Johnson is a banana peel fighter. What I mean by that is he'll be looking great, and all of a sudden he's losing. But at the same time, I can't lay juice on Mullarkey at minus 250 or whatever he's at. And Michael Johnson, he looked good in his last fight. He did get rocked. I will say that man got rocked by Alan Petrie, and that is not a good sign. But what I will say is he recovered. And when a lot of his other fights in the past, the Clay Guida fight, he shouldn't have lost that fight. He kind of just died out. in the Josh Emmett fight, like he just gets finished. In the Justin Gaethje fight, he gets finished. Like he would get hurt and then get finished. In that fight, he got hurt, he got wobbled, and he came back and he stood his ground and he fought. And then came back and knocked out Alan Petrie. So in this fight, I actually got Michael Johnson at plus 210. I put 1 unit on the money line. I will say this right now. I think that Jamie Mullarkey is the rightful favorite. I just don't believe he should be a minus 240. I mean, I don't even know the odds calculator off the top of my head, but I will tell you right now, minus 240. Oh my God, I'm sure. Minus 2, that's like a 70% implied. I don't think he's beating Michael Johnson 70% of the time. I think it's more in like the 60-ish% range. And if we're in that, we're talking more like the more 150s-ish, 140-ish range. And so I don't know. And last thing I'll say is Jamie Mullarkey opened up as a dog.
Yeah, that's crazy.
End of story.
It switched this fast.
The people switched it, not the bookies. The people.
Yeah.
The money came in, and the bookies were like, "Well, we got to swap it."
That's crazy.
But so that's my thoughts. I think Mullarkey should be the winner, but Michael Johnson at plus 210. You're telling me Mullarkey, who just got slept by Jalen Turner 3 months ago, and was, I mean, kind of like he was crying.
Yeah, he was not doing well after he realized he just got knocked out.
Yeah, but I'll stop. I said my piece. What do you think?
Yeah, I got a small bet on Michael Johnson. But like you said, I think Jamie Mullarkey should win this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like trusting a guy's chin who always relies on his chin after you get knocked out viciously less than 4 months ago. It's just not. I don't think it's a smart bet. Sometimes it's like gone against that. I think it was kind of I bet against Nzechukwu after he no, I didn't actually. But anyways, Nzechukwu came back really quickly, and I didn't really put a bet on that fight because I was worried about him. Or I might have put a bet on that fight. But anyways, I was worried about him getting knocked out again. And he didn't, but then who was it recently? He just got knocked out. I think it was on this last card. Got knocked out again. Yeah, or Tafon, yeah, a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Yeah.
His chin failed. And the way that he got knocked out, that was a nasty knockout.
Yeah.
So I think Michael Johnson, obviously he got rocked in his fight, but I think that there's, like you said, more than a 30% chance that Michael Johnson gets a KO in the first round or two just because his chin might be compromised and he runs forward with not much defense at all.
Yeah.
So I got a small little bet on Michael Johnson by KO, TKO,
nice.
plus 325.
Nice. And that over under is set in this fight over 2.5 plus 130, under 2.5 minus 165. I want to say I have a bet on this fight under 2.5. I have a 1.5 unit bet on this fight to basically get finished in these first 2 rounds. That. I think these guys are going to come out banging. So.
Yeah, I don't think this fight's going to decision.
I mean, it could. I'd be shocked if it did, but I think these guys are going to come out throwing. Look at Michael Johnson, a finish in this fight, finish. So, I mean, 3 of his last 5 fights have ended in finish. Jamie Mullarkey, you look at his fights, 3 of his last 5 finishes. So, I mean, I think we're in for another finish.
I think one other thing I want to add is that Michael Johnson was like, he got his confidence back when he won that last fight. He got his swag back, and I think he's going to have the speed advantage. So that's why I'm also being on him by KO. Hearing him in the post-fight celebrations, just talking about how he's worked so hard to come back, and then he got coming off a KO, his first win in like over 2.5 years, I think, or something like that, crazy like that. I think he's got his flow back.
And that's one thing. One thing I wrote about is I said one thing in UFC or one thing in mixed martial arts that I've noticed is that when fighters have momentum, they usually like ride that momentum. And when fighters are like kind of having a downtrend, you kind of see that downtrend continue. And sure, there's fighters that jump out of that trend, but this is kind of one of those parts where you have Mullarkey, who, I mean, just got brutally finished in his last fight to the point where he, like, you guys need to go watch back that fight and just, you can scroll to the very end and just see him. He's like on the floor getting consoled and he sounds like he's crying or just, I don't really know what, but he doesn't
The
sound
broadcast kind of quick, like goes
Yeah.
off of it pretty quickly after you hear the first few seconds of it.
Exactly. So I'm not really sure what it was, but it didn't sound good. And I think that Michael Johnson can ride the momentum and potentially finish Mullarkey in round 2. I think round 2, maybe. I mean, round 1 even is possible.
Let's go, MJ.
But I'm going with Michael Johnson on this one. Let's go with Michael Johnson, folks. All right. Next fight. We are on the second fight of the main card. We have Cynthia Calvillo facing Nina Nunes, also known as Nina Ansaroff.
I think, yeah.
So that's who you guys might see in your books is Nina Ansaroff. Nina Nunes is married to a former bantamweight UFC champ Amanda Nunes, and she is the current featherweight champ. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yep. Accurate.
And so we'll continue breaking this down. Tail of the tape. Calvillo is going to be 2 years younger. She is going to be an inch shorter. This is actually Nina Nunes' first fight at flyweight. So that will be a bit different for her. I mean, she's going up 10 pounds. Not sure. When you see fighters go up in weight late in their careers, it's usually just because they can't cut weight. She had a baby, though, a couple years ago. So, I mean, cut her a little bit of slack. Having a baby definitely takes a toll on your body and will definitely make it where cutting weight is significantly harder. This fight's interesting to me. Initially, I was kind of leaning Nina Nunes. She is the dog in this fight. Plus 120, plus 126, nothing crazy. But she is the dog. I don't know. I think that this is kind of going to be a kickboxing match. Calvillo can wrestle. She hasn't wrestled, though, in her last couple fights, so I don't really know if we can trust her to go to that game plan. When you look at Calvillo's stats, she has 11 UFC fights. She has 37 takedown attempts. So, I mean, she can go for takedowns. It's just, is she? I don't know. And I don't like to bank on not knowing what a fighter's going to do. So, I mean, from a betting standpoint, this fight's kind of a stay away. But I think I lean Cynthia Calvillo to win this fight. I know people are down on her because of her last couple fights, but Kaylin Chukagian, I mean, that's a top fighter in this division. We can't really expect her to beat Kaylin Chukagian. And then we have Jessica Andrade, another top woman in the division. And then she took the Andrea Lee fight on short notice. I mean, and she got whooped on. I totally agree with that, but I think that people are looking at like, oh, she lost to Chukagian, oh, she lost to Andrade. Like, yes, those are top women in the flyweight division. Calvillo's not a top 5 woman in the division, but she's top 15, and so I think that I think this fight right here, Calvillo's gonna handle Nunes personally. I thought Nunes was gonna win, but I mean, you look at who they've been fighting, level of competition is a little bit different. I mean, outside of Mackenzie Dern, Nunes hasn't really fought nobody. I think the UFC is purposely trying to kind of give her layups to win. I mean, her wife is Amanda Nunes, but she's not winning.
Yeah.
So my pick's Calvillo. I don't have a hot take for that one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bet. A fight I'm staying far away from in terms of betting. I just don't see a way I could. I just don't. I can't get a good read on it. So I'm just gonna say that I think it's dog or pass if you feel like you have to bet, just because. I don't know. It's just the way that she quit on the stool last time, and the way she got finished by, and she being Calvillo, it makes me hard for me to bet on her. But like you said, it was against much higher level competition. And if Cynthia Calvillo goes into the wrestling, she'll be the bigger, stronger girl, I'm assuming. And she should be able to control her on the ground, I would think. But I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to bet on. We haven't seen it in the last couple fights. I mean,
yeah.
To be fair, Chukagin has great takedown defense. It's hard to take her down. Andrade's a little tank. It's just the Andrea Lee fight is what was concerning. But the reason why I kind of cut her some slack is it was just short notice. And I personally think Andrea Lee is a stud. I think Andrea Lee is a good fighter. I just think her last fight, she had a bad night. Granted, Vivian Araujo, that's who she fought, right?
She almost knocked her out in the first few minutes. So.
She's a good fighter, but Andrea Lee's, I think, is good. So losing to her is no spite either. But I think Calvillo, like in a Lambo parlay, when I'm probably going to be putting Kennedy and Ronnie Lawrence and stuff like that, I'll probably throw her in there too because she's such a low dollar amount. Yeah, she's low in there, so she'll be nice for a juicy like seven legger or something like that for like.
She should be motivated too. They both should be motivated.
Yeah, put like a quarter unit, 1/10 of a unit, something small. Yeah, I'm Calvillo, and you said you're on what side?
I said dog or pass, so I guess Nunes.
For sure. All right, is that our first time that we're on opposing sides this card?
I think we both kind of agree Mullarkey should win, but the line is not really justified. So we have a bet on Johnson, but if I was like saying straight up who would I pick, I kind of have to go Mullarkey, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so we're moving up the card. We're got a couple more fights to go, folks. If you're enjoying yourself, go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe. It helps us out. It's real quick and easy. Thank you very much. We got Jared Vanderaa against the vanilla fucking gorilla. Chase Sherman, baby.
Cringe.
Chase Sherman's going to be 2 years older. He's going to be way smaller in terms of weight. Vanderaa is a true heavyweight. Dude comes in on the scale damn near 266, 265. He's right there. Height, both 6'4". Sherman is going to have the 2-inch reach disadvantage. This fight, I don't know. I'm gonna pump this to you first, and then I'll talk about it.
So, it's super simple. No one should be betting on it, but I think Jared Vanderaa is definitely the more skilled overall fighter. He supposedly has a black belt jiu-jitsu. I know people question that, the truth behind that. I don't know where he got it from, but I had money on him against Oleinik. I was like, dude, you just got to hit him in the head like twice. Like, hit him with one combo, and you should win. Like, he'll fall over. Sure enough, I don't even want to talk about that fight. He's hard to watch, but I think I have him in like you said, a Lambo parlay with some of the other guys. I think I got him in that parlay when he was like minus 170. Now he's minus 210 now. So that tells you anything. People are fading Chase Sherman. He's just so bad. I can't. I respect him because he's probably making decent money now because he's coming and he'll fight anybody. And so I definitely got respect for him in that. And UFC needs heavyweights and we need big guys to, slang gloves and stuff. So I respect him for that, but I don't think he's very talented. So I'm going to have to side with Jared Vanderaa.
Yeah, I feel that.
But with that being said, I did have a bet on him against what's his face when he was like the biggest underdog to start start out on a card. Like he was like a minus.
Oh, against Alexander Romanov.
Yeah, he was like plus 800 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like I threw like $5 on that. I was like maybe he gets lucky knockout or something. But obviously I threw that money away.
For sure.
But on to you, bro.
All right, yeah. Initially, I thought Jared Vanderaa was going to absolutely handle this fight, and then I started to look at it deeper, and as bad as Chase Sherman is, Jared Vanderaa is not much better.
Nope.
But I will say he has a significant advantage on the ground. And I don't know if it's significant is the right word, but I will say he has the confidence, and that goes a long way. The dude tried to pull like a leg triangle choke on Alexei Oleinik from like the back. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Like he's just trying to pull off like crazy submissions. Like, and I don't think he'll try to pull off a crazy submission like that, but I think he's going to try to pull submissions off on Chase Sherman if he gets it on the ground. Only thing that like has me cause for pause or like makes me pause is the simple fact that like the Andre Arlovsky matchups does really kind of worry me. Granted, it was a split. This one, it was unanimous, but I don't know. Watching the fights, it looked like Chase Sherman almost put up a better account for himself than Jared Vanderaa did. I don't know, but it's really, really hard to back Chase Sherman. I actually have a bet on this fight, as crazy as that sounds.
Team Chase Sherman.
After I saw Chase Sherman, get choked out by Jake Collier, I had to put a bet on it, man. If Vanderaa confident enough to go again to try and submit Alexei Oleinik, he's definitely going to be confident enough to try to submit Chase fucking Sherman.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember. Let me see if I have it up right here. Yeah, I put a half unit on Vanderaa by sub plus 550. It's not like the greatest sub number. I wish I could have got a higher sub number. I think the bookies are thinking the same thing we are. This man, Chase Sherman, has been subbed in his past two fights. We got Vanderaa, who's a brown or black belt at BJJ. He's attempted subs against Alexei Oleinik. If he's going to do that, he's going to attempt him against Chase Sherman. If he's going to attempt him against Chase Sherman most likely will get submitted and will tap out. I wouldn't be surprised to see a first-round tap. So I like Vanderaa, probably by finish. If this goes decision, would you be shocked?
Dude, I would laugh so hard if he lost a split decision. I mean, Jared Vanderaa is not the sharpest tool in the shed, man, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, if this,
he technically outstruck Andre Arlovsky, and Chase Sherman definitely didn't outstrike Andre Arlovsky.
Like,
so he should have that feet advantage.
Plus 150 to go the distance.
Neither of them are that talented, and neither of them are that weak-chinned that they lose. You know what I mean? And I think, like you said, the best win condition, probably if Jared Vanderaa is going to finish him, is going to be either he's on top of him and he's just ground and pounding him, or he submits him.
Yeah.
What's more likely? I think probably the submission.
I would think so, right?
Yeah. So I like that bet.
I mean, KO for Vanderaa is plus 200. Sub is. Wow, the sub is now plus 600. Come on, bet online. You guys want to play me, bro.
This man, Jared Vanderaa, got an ankle lock in 2017.
Yeah. So, Vanderaa by sub, the line just went up. So, I could have waited on that. But we're both on Vanderaa there.
I think I have to take the plus 600 now.
Yeah.
Because it's weird because he's a bigger favorite now, but his sub prop went.
Yep, exactly. Whatever. All right. So, we are on to the third to last fight of the night, folks. We got Said Nurmagomedov against Douglas Silva de Andrade. So, tail of the tape heavily favors Said Nurmagomedov. He is going to be 7 years younger. He's going to have a 1-inch reach advantage, and he's going to have a 1.5-inch reach advantage. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. A 1-inch height advantage and a 1.5-inch reach advantage. Last 5 fights, Said Nurmagomedov is 4-1. Silva de Andrade is 3-2, with his 2 losses coming to LeBron Murphy and Petrosyan. and Nurmagomedov lost to Ronnie Barcelos by unanimous decision. When you look at these fighters, they kind of have similar fighting styles. They're both strikers primarily. The big difference is Douglas da Silva likes to kind of rain power shots with hooks and wider strikes, and Said Nurmagomedov likes to either use straight punches, straight kicks, or likes to do spinning attacks. I favor Nurmagomedov in this matchup pretty heavily. We saw Morozov hurt hurt Andrade, and we just saw Morozov. I mean, he won a decision against Paiva, but he was getting touched up by Paiva, and I think that that kind of showed that Morozov's stand-up game is not as good as everybody thought it was. And with that being said, I just think Said Nurmagomedov is really going to be able to just exploit De Andrade on the feet. If it does go to the ground, I think he'll also have the advantage there. I think the price tag is rightful. Minus 290 is what he's at right now. I really don't see any value on Douglas Silva de Andrade at plus 230 or whatever it is. Sure, he has a puncher's chance, but I don't see much value in him. I think he's going to lose this fight.
He's going night-night?
I don't think he's going to night-night. I think something I actually put in my notes, I'm glad you brought that up. Something I put in my notes that I want to mention is I said that I think because like Said Nurmagomedov has finished his past two fights really early, you have that recency bias. You have people who think that, this is going to finish real quick as well. But I definitely think that this could go the distance. I definitely think this could go over 2.5. Over 2.5 is plus 100. Fight goes the distance plus 140. I like both of those, honestly. You look at Andrade, he's pretty tough. He's not really getting finished. He got finished by Peter Yan, and it was a corner stoppage, and I'm all for corner stoppages, and Peter Yan is a savage. So, it is what it is. And you look at him against Morozov, he was rocked. And he could have, depending on the ref could have stopped that fight.
He got heart, bro. He got bad
exactly.
heart.
And that's what I'm saying. He has the heart. I don't think he'll get stopped. So I'm going Said here. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I'm also on Said. I have him in a parlay. I don't know if this is a parlay that's gonna hit, but I'm gonna go ride it and see. I'm due for hitting a parlay. So yeah, I'm gonna ride him. I don't think he puts him night. I just think that he's gonna be probably outpointing him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that he probably finishes him, he catches Andrade or something he doesn't see, maybe like a spinning kick or something like that, and then follows up. But in terms of like striking accuracy and striking defense, it's like Nurmagomedov kind of blows him out of the water. So
yeah, for sure. And that's kind of how I feel too. I'm like, if Morozov was effective on the feet, like Nurmagomedov is going to absolutely piece this kid up.
He's gonna and when Nurmagomedov gets taken down, like that dude kind of just like bounces up, like it's kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. Said Nurmagomedov is very similar to Umar Nurmagomedov, where they're very good with their kicks, they're very good with their strikes, they're very light on their feet, they're very good strikers. But Said doesn't go to his wrestling as often. All right, so this was a pretty easy breakdown for that fight. Straightforward, both on Said here. All right, next fight of the night, we got Caio Borralho against Armen Petrosyan. This is a stud fight right here. This is a battle of some upcoming middleweight fighters. The middleweight needs some new young blood. We just saw last card. We saw Dricus du Plessis, a young fighter. Jared Cannonier really put up no fight. Brad Tavares, he put up a solid effort against du Plessis, but it wasn't anything special. And then Muniz, he's someone to kind of be looking at. And then you have Uriah Hall, who's pretty much, he's on his way out. So it's time for some young blood to really make its way in this division. It's pretty dead. I think these are two big, exciting guys that can definitely make some noise in the division. So, tail of the tape, we'll have Borralho at he'll be 5'10". He'll have the longer reach though, so he will be the shorter man, but the longer reach. Petrosyan will have a 71-inch reach to Borralho's 75-inch reach. One thing I will point out is if you look at his Kai Barralho's last fight against Omar Godziev, Godse was listed at about 6 feet, 6'1", and Cal Barralho was taller than him, or about the same height. So when you think about that, I don't know if he's out here like just lying about his height to kind of fool people or what, but I think he's definitely taller than 5'10". He's at least 6 feet.
Yeah, for sure.
And he has a 75. I mean, it'd be crazy for him to be that short and to have this long arm reach, which is possible, but I think he's probably taller. When it comes to actual fighting, Armen Petrosyan is definitely going to have the striking advantage, 100%. He's a powerful technical striker. He's extremely tough, but he does lack grappling and a ground game in terms of offense. But defensively, he has solid takedown defense. He has pretty good get-ups, but I haven't really seen him fight anybody who's really like going to try to grapple. RoboCop, who he fought last time, we know he's not out here looking to chain wrestle. He'll shoot once, he'll shoot twice. Maybe he doesn't get it. He's like, all right, deuces, let's fight. So I think it'll be interesting. One thing else that I noticed that I wrote in my notes is Barralho's a southpaw, and Petrosyan, from everything that I've seen, I haven't seen him fight a southpaw. And so that's going to be something different for him. Sure, he's trained with the south. I'm sure he's trained against southpaws and things like that, but fighting one is a little bit different. So I think that that's going to play a little bit of a role in this fight. I'm not sure if it'll be huge, but I think it plays, 2, 3, 4, 5% of a role in this fight. The kicks will be different. Won't have so many. Just the whole aspect of the fight's different when you're fighting a southpaw compared to a right-hand fighter. I'm not going to sit here and talk about all that. Then really the big difference in this fight is going to be the grappling. Caio Borralho has really good grappling, good BJJ. He'll fight on the ground. I'm pretty sure he's been training with Damian Maia for like 8 years. And
something crazy.
8 years was at his last fight. So, I mean, a month and 4 weeks ago is when he last fought. So it's still 8 years. He's been doing that. So he's pretty much been under the tutelage of a UFC legend and a BJJ legend and just an absolute stud. I'm going to pick Borralho here. He is actually the second leg in my 2-leg parlay with Saeed and Nurmagomedov. I believe it's a 3-unit play at about plus 123 odds. So about 3 units to win like 3.5. Pretty confident in both of these guys. I think Petrosyan is good, but I think this is just a point where Borralho can hang on the feet, and then if he gets on the ground, there's just a massive disadvantage. And so that's really how I'm leaning here. My pick's Borralho. He's in my parlay. So I feel confident in him. I got him at about minus 170, minus 175 in my parlay. So
nice.
Better than this minus 230 or 220 that he's at now.
Yeah, he's been blowing up. So I am also on the Borralho side. I think that he's probably pretty safe. I think he's a really smart fighter. He plays with the distance really well. He's going to have a reach advantage. I would definitely say that probably the power and advantage is probably towards Petrosyan, but I think Borralho's never been finished. He hasn't been finished before, and he's got a really good chin. I also think that the wrestling and jiu-jitsu is going to be like the huge difference in the fight. So, I do I think he's going to finish Petrosyan? No, I don't. I that's why I have a little 1-unit stab on Borralho by decision, which I got at plus 240. And it's still 240 on Bovada. And so I'm going to ride that. And I also have him parlayed with Saeed and one other guy that happens to be fighting on the next fight.
Okay, so you got a little 3-legger going.
Yep.
Final 3 fights. I like it. All right, so we're both on a Caio Borralho here. I think this will be a good fight. It's needed in that middleweight division. We need some new blood. We need some young blood.
Yes.
So it's time. All right.
And I also thought, last thing, sorry. I was
you're
going to
good.
say, I actually had a bet on Petrosyan in his last fight against Robocop, and I actually thought he was going to lose. So take that as you will.
Yeah, I thought he lost that fight. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if he lost that fight, I don't think, one, he'd be getting this fight. And I think if he lost that fight, two, even if he did get this fight, the line would be, he probably would have opened up at a much wider line.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we have made it this far. If you've made it this far into the video, please like, subscribe. We appreciate you very much. Yeah, just a little thumbs up. All right, we have the Battle of Rafael for the main event. We got Rafael Dos Anjos against Rafael Fiziev. So, tail of the tape, it's probably going to favor Fiziev. Or I would say it's about 50-50, actually. Tail of the tape wise, Fiziev is going to be younger. He's going to be 8 years younger. He is going to have the 1.5-inch reach advantage, and they're going to be the same height. Experience-wise, RDA is far more experienced. He's fought far tougher competition in the 170 division and the 155 division. Their last 3 fights, Fiziev is 5-0. Dos Anjos is 3-2. So I'm going to let you take this one here first, and then I'll wrap it up.
So I think we might have differing opinions on this. I'm going to lean with Fiziev just straight up. He's part of the 3-leg parlay that I have with Borralho and Nurmagomedov. I think he should. I kind of have a gut feeling he's going to finish RDA. RDA's, don't get me wrong, he's a legend. He's a stud. I just think he's getting up there in age. And I don't think the last 2 fighters who were both accepted the fight on short notice really were able to, get the full camp they needed. And Paul Felder is pretty much, he took that fight out of retirement essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And he still couldn't finish either of them. So do I think he can finish Fiziev? No. I think Fiziev's got some crazy takedown defense number. Let's see if I can find it right now. Takedown defense, 95%. He hasn't been getting a lot of takedowns against him, though, because he hasn't fought too many crazy wrestlers, but that's still pretty impressive regardless, if you ask me. So I think he's going to win inside the distance, but I'm not going to probably put a bet on that. I'm probably just going to have him straight up. I think if you really want to look at it in a certain way, like if you think he's going to finish Dos Anjos, I'd say rounds 1, 2, or 3 is like plus 200. Or you can go 4 or 5 by decision if you think he's going to win by decision. But I think his cardio is going to be on point. I think he's going to be ready for this fight. I think the only way RDA can win this fight is if he's able to tire him out on the ground with his wrestling, maybe some ground and pound, and then maybe he catches a late submission, or he just rides him out and wins like the final 3 rounds.
Yeah. I feel that. Okay. I like it. I definitely like it. Yeah, I am on the other side here. I like RDA for a couple of reasons. One thing is when I'm like breaking down fights, I try to look at just paths to victory. Paths to victory, and I try to look at people's skill sets. When I look at their skill sets from just a straight up standpoint, Fiziev is the better striker. He's just a pure mixed martial arts striker. He can do it all. He can kick, he can knee, he can punch. He's a great striker. But then I look at the rest of his game, and offensively, he doesn't really have any grappling. He doesn't really offer any grappling, which is fair. You see that with fighters who are strikers. We see Izzy, we see those guys. And I mean, yes, if we believe Fiziev is in that level of he's such a good striker, that it doesn't matter that he doesn't really have any grapple game offensively. I just don't know if I'm in that territory yet to just say Fiziev is that guy. But yeah, it is impressive. 95% takedown defense. He's had 22 takedown attempts against him in 6 fights. He's only given up 1, so 1 for 22. I think the difference between Dos Anjos and Fiziev Dos Anjos and Fiziev's other opponents is Dos Anjos isn't out here trying to wrestle per se. He gets in the clinch. He'll kind of trip you, things like that. He's more of an opportunist, if you will. He's not out here trying to Ricky Simone you, trying to Ronnie Lawrence you, who's on this card. That's not necessarily his game, but you do look at his takedown attempts. I mean, it is only 37%, so it's not great. But main reason why I'm taking RDA here is I think RDA has more paths to victory. I think that he has the grappling advantage. I personally think that I don't think he can beat Fiziev in a striking match, but I think he can hang with Fiziev in a striking match. And I also think he'll be able to take a punch. I know people think you said he'll get knocked out, and I know other people think he'll get knocked out. I just don't think Fiziev hits very hard. Yeah, he knocked out Moicano, but that was a combination. When you're punching somebody with 3, 4, 5 punches, like, yes, you can finish somebody.
It was head, body, left hook, or right overhand, I think, body, left,
yeah,
left hook.
Exactly. It was just like an accumulation of just like boom, boom, boom. He was just out. The wheel kick, I mean, getting kicked in the head, I don't care who you are, getting kicked in the head, like, that's just going to hurt. You're going out.
Round 3, wheel head kick.
Yeah, and so I think this fight is probably going to go the full 5. It might not. It could finish in round 4 and 5. But I favor RDA. I look at him, and there's a reason why people were trying to line up RDA to fight Islam and RDA to fight Fiziev, but like, people know RDA can hang with these guys, I think, and people want to see these young fighters tested against somebody as good as RDA. And so, I mean, I think from the UFC's perspective, they're like, can you beat RDA Fiziev? Yes or no? And I mean, as good as Fiziev is, I think RDA beats all these guys too, So I think he beats Riddell. I think he beats Bobby Green. He beat Moicano. And I know you said he didn't get the finish in that fight, but the ref should have stopped that fight. And I've seen I've seen multiple people on Twitter say that RDA slowed down in that fight and he got punched in the face a couple times in round 5. But RDA literally said, I felt bad for him. And I took it easy because I didn't want it. Like, this fight should have been stopped. Yeah. And so, I don't know.
That was hard to watch towards the end.
It was hard to watch, truthfully. So I'm taking RDA here. I think that he's just more well-rounded. I think he has more paths to victory. And I think that's the biggest thing is paths to victory. I think he could submit him. I think he could grind him out. And I mean, like I said, he could hang on the feet. So could he clip Fiziev? It's possible. Could he do enough damage to do some control in the clinch and do things like that just to make it dirty? I think so. So I took a play at RDA at plus 195. My local bookie, the one down the street, the casino, had plus 195. Everywhere else was like plus 170. So I took it. And I also, because I'm a fucking degenerate, I took a sprinkle on RDA sub round 4 and RDA sub round 5. Sub round 4, 45 plus 4,500, and sub round 5 plus 5,000. So
also 4-5 decision is plus 200.
Yeah,
that's not bad. If you're gonna take him.
Yep. So that's not bad either. 4-5 decision. So yeah, I'm leaning RDA. I have a bet down at plus 195. I think this is a good fight for him. I know he's 37. I know Fiziev is what the UFC wants, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna ride the RDA train for one last ride. That's how I'm feeling.
Respect. I can't knock it. Like, I just kind of have a gut feeling, and I've liked what I've seen with his hands for Fiziev. That's why I'm riding him. And I'm definitely, if I get down to it and I have a lot of money riding on Fiziev in a parlay or two, I'm definitely going to be hedging a decent amount out to save my own ass.
No, yeah,
Because I truly don't know 100%. This fight could go a million different ways.
Yeah, no, I hear that. That's kind of how I'm feeling. But I just took the dog shots. I think it's going to be close. I think if it goes to the scorecards, you get the judges. They might side with the bet. But
I do slightly agree that the line's slightly off potentially.
Yeah.
Like, I think it should be more of like a minus 150 to plus 125 type of line.
That's fair for sure. I would agree to some extent for sure. All right, though, we made it through. We made it through all 12 fights. Thankfully, Onama and got added back on, so we have 12 fights again.
Yeah, facts.
But I appreciate everybody sticking around. Follow, like, subscribe. Not follow, but like, subscribe. I'm thinking of all of the social media channels. But yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you would like, you can follow me on Twitter at AntPicksEm. And then my boy Jay will be making his account here shortly, and then I'll get that tweeted out when he does, and so you guys can drop a follow there.
And I'll have all my tracked things up and about too, so we can see how I've been doing.
Yeah, for sure. So I appreciate everybody. You guys all have a great rest of your week, and I hope everybody enjoys this fight card on Saturday. Feel free to drop a comment, drop a like, drop a subscribe. I appreciate everybody. You have a good night, folks. Have a great night.
We out. Take care.
We out.